Reflecting on the event of the Yovel of the Yeshiva and the thousands of people coming, and it's a very powerful event, a lot of emotions. I was thinking, what exactly is the halachic category that it might fall under? And the thing that I came up with, I think most closely resembles coming to the Yeshiva and back to the Yeshiva as individuals, as families, after so many years, is the mitzvah, the chova of the hatpil pnei Rebbe Regel, the obligation to greet one's Rebbe in the Regel, not only because right now in the middle of Sukkot, but because it somehow is connected to the idea of the mitzvah in a much more broader and deeper way. But in order to explain that, I'm going to have to go into a little bit about the mitzvah, the obligation, the hatpil pnei Rebbe Regel. I'm assuming basic understanding of Hebrew. I don't have to translate every source. If somebody doesn't understand something, please raise your hand. The first source is Rosh Hashanah, which is really the source of the obligation. A person is obligated to greet his Rebbe during the Regel. The husband of the Shunabis says to, after the child becomes very sick or actually dies, and she wants to run to Elisha to revive the child, so she doesn't tell the husband what happened. And she says, I have to go to Elisha. And he says, Madua Tolech Nila, why are you going to me? Lo Chodesh, it's not Rosh Chodesh apparently. Lo Shabbat, it's not Shabbos. And from that pasuk, Mechlal, the Chodesh Shabbat, Ibar Le'Mezel. From there we could derive that if it were Chodesh or Shabbat, then one should go. Now, this memra of Chazal is a very perplexing. On the one hand, Rabbi Yitzchak says the mitzvah is to greet your Rebbe during the Regel, but the source that it brings is Lo Chodesh, Lo Shabbat. If it would have said you have to greet your Rebbe on Rosh Chodesh, on Shabbat, and then brought the pasuk, it would make sense. But there's a disconnect between the basic obligation which Rabbi Yitzchak proposes and the pasuk that it brings as a proof. In order to explain that discrepancy, I'm going to take two different approaches. The first approach is based on the Ritva. The Ritva says basically, in different conditions or different situations, you have to go more or less often. Let's take a look at the Ritva, source number 2. Vim Tomar, and Cain, it should have said go on Shabbat, not go on Regel. Yesh Lomar, Rav Yitzchak Tafas Katzeh Acharon. In other words, you have to go greet your Rebbe based on how close you are to the Rebbe. How far away are you or how close are you? If you're closer, you should go more often. If you're further away, you can go less often. Regel is, if you're far away, you should go once every Regel. If you're in the same town, you should perhaps see him every day. If you're outside of the city, but you're not far away, then you should see him once a week, Shabbat, or on Rosh Chodesh. And if he's far away, very distant, then you should go at least, minimally, once a regel. Rabbi Yitzchak comes to talk about the more distant conditions, that in such a situation you shouldn't be lazy, you should go at least see once in a Regel. V'Shabbat nam didakad kol nam Yom Tov. And the term Shabbat also might be referring to Yom Tov. We say Mevacharat HaShabbat, which is the day after Pesach, as opposed to the Stukin. We say Yom Rishon Shabbaton. So when it says Shabbat, it might not be referring to Shabbat, the once a week Shabbat, it might be referring to Yom Tov. Okay, so that's the response of the Ritva. What's interesting is how the Ritva understands the basic obligation of seeing your Rebbe Regel. What is it based on? So, according to him, basically it's not a mitzvah in Regel. It's not that Regel demands that you see your Rebbe, but rather it's a mitzvah of a relationship between a Talmud and a Rebbe. It's a mitzvah, one could say, of kavod harav. And therefore, if you're closer, you're obligated to see him more often. If you're further away, less often. And if you're very distant, once a regel. But it's not a din in regel. The proof that it's not a din in regel, that in other situations you have to see once a week, once a month, maybe once every day. This idea that the mitzvah lahakol pnei rabo regel is not a mitzvah regel, but rather a mitzvah in kavod rav, is found in Rashi and Rambam. They both seem to say the same thing. Take a look at source number 3. There's another situation where somebody went lahakol pnei rabo regel, and Rashi comments, Yom Tov haya shechai vanu l'chabed et rabo b'akbalat panim. Why did he go see his Rebbe? Because it was Yom Tov. And Rashi answers, the chayv l'chabed et rabo. There was a din in kavod harav. Rambam, he writes, Keshem sh'adam mitzuve b'chvod aviv v'yirato, kenu chayv b'chvod rabo v'yirato, yeter mi'aviv. Right? Somebody's chayv to have honor for his Rav, to have fear or respect for his Rav. V'chayv la'amod b'pnei rabo, misheirenu mirachok mole'enov ad shitasem benu. You see him walking in the room, you stand up. V'chayv adam lahakpil pnei rabo b'regel. So within what context did the Rambam bring the mitzvah of lahakpil pnei rabo b'regel? In Hilchos Yom Tov? No. In Hilchos Chagiga, where he talks about other mitzvahs of regel? No. But rather he brings it in Hilchos Talmud Torah, where within the context of the mitzvahs of kavod harav. So both Rashi and Rambam echo this idea that the mitzvah lahakpil pnei rabo regel is not a mitzvah regel, but rather a mitzvah kavod harav. And the regel simply is a certain interval, according to Rav, minimal interval, in which you should show kavod harav by going and greeting it. Okay, this idea that we're not talking about a mitzvah of regel, but rather we're talking about a din of kavod harav, and certain intervals, has a number of different ramifications. For instance, what about Chol HaMoed? Does one have to, is Chol HaMoed included? If we say something that you do on a Yom Tov, on a special occasion, well, Chol HaMoed, it's an in between. We call it Chol HaMoed because it's, on the one hand, regarding certain things, it's like Yom Tov. On the other hand, it's like Chol. Do you have to see your Rebbe on Chol HaMoed, or is it only on Yom Tov? Shabbos, Chodesh, on Yom Tov itself proper. What about Chol HaMoed? So there's Gemara in Sukkah, source number 5. Masib Rebbe Lai, Shahalach lahakpil pnei Rebbe Lezer, Rabbo Balon. He went to visit Rebbe Lezer, who was in Lod. Regel. Amalo Eli. Eincha mishovte HaRegel, Sher Lezer Omer, Mishabeach ani et ha'atzlanim, she'ein yotzi batem b'regel. Dechtiv v'samachta ata uveitecha. If it's a regel, you should be staying with your family. You shouldn't come visit me. I give praise to those who are lazy and stay at home. You shouldn't be going visiting your Rebbe on a regular. You should stay home. Amy, is that true? How does Rabbi Lezer say? How does that fit in with what we just saw? That you should go see your Rebbe in a regular. Michlal the Bechor Shas B'chayv Nishlag Pulit Ape Rabbe Lo Kasha Hada Azav Ati B'Yome. If you can go visit Rebbe and come back and be with your family that same day, well then you should go visit your Rebbe. But if you can't, then you shouldn't. Rashi points out, if you can come back the same day, then then you're obligated to see your Rebbe. Kigon, how can you come back the same day? Kigon either if it's within the tchum of Shabbos, or if you made an eruv tchumin. But if it's out of the tchum, you can't come back home. Or if it's further away, then you shouldn't go. Okay, why does Rashi say that you can come back home because it's within the tchum? So Rabbi Avram Nahar points out, Nir Shapir Shchayv L'Makbo B'Regel B'Yom Tov to Shabbos to come. We're not talking about Chol HaMoed, but specifically on Yom Tov. You should see him on Shabbos, on Chodesh, and when is it Shabbaton? On Yom Tov itself. But Chol HaMoed, no. Because Chol HaMoed is not Shabbaton. Yom Rishon Shabbaton, Yom HaShmini Shabbaton. But Chol HaMoed is not considered a Shabbat. And therefore, certainly according to the Rebbe that says maybe Shabbos is referring to Yom Tov, it wouldn't include Chol HaMoed. So basically, if it's not a din of regel, we could assume it's possible that Chol HaMoed wouldn't be included. But if you take a look at the Ritva, in source number 7, V'okimna d'mayri da'azav asi biyomei di'ilo eino latzeit mibeito b'regel b'chol shel bo'ei d'masi nafik. In other words, according to Ritva, we're not talking about where there's within the tchum, we're not talking about every tchumin, we're talking about somebody that can take a cab or take his car, and he lives close enough that he come back home. In other words, according to the Ritva, it includes chol moed as well. The Yom Tov Gufa b'toch ha'tchum lo sadi d'lo'azeh. Right? If it were Yom Tov, then of course you couldn't go. But even if it's chol moed and you can drive there, only if you're able to also come back, then you go visit your Rebbe. So according to the Ritva, the mitzvah of the Akol Pnei Rabbo Regel includes chol moed. Well, according to Rashi, it's only Yom Tov. Now the idea of Yom Tov is that it has to be Shabbat, Shabbaton. Only on Chodesh, on Shabbat, on Yom Tov, which is also considered Shabbat, on days which have Kedushas Hayom, then those are opportunities also to visit your Rebbe. But on Chol Moed, that's like a regular day of Chol, and on Chol Moed there's no obligation. The Ritva says no, Chol Moed is also included. Now we saw that according to the Ritva, it's a din and cover Rav. However, he extends it not only to Shabbat, but also to Regel, as intervals or opportunities to see your Rebbe. So that, according to the Ritva, includes also Chol Moed. Okay, there's another. What about Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? It says Regel. Regel is Pesach, Shavuos, and so on. So what about Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? Are you obligated to visit Rebbe Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? It's Yom Tov. Is that included as well? So there's no source on the Gemara that talks about it. But there's a very interesting pirush of the Rav Yitzchak ben Yehuda Alevi, when we showed him. He says, Shalosh Pam Dashana, Shalosh Ksiv Malei, source number 8. It says Shalosh, and it's written with a Vav. Ki Vav Pa'am Mitzarach La'akpil Pnei Rav, V'gimel Regalim, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and Shmini Atzeres. So he says there's a remez in the Torah that you have to go see your Rebbe 6 times during the year, and he mentions all Yom Tovim. Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, Pesach, Shavuos, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, they're all included. Okay? Now all this fits in with the idea that we're not talking about a mitzvah of a regel, but rather certain intervals that are appropriate to go visit your Rebbe. On days which have Kedushas Hayom, which are Yom Tovim, where you're involved in ideas of Kedusha, those are opportune times to go visit your Rebbe. But on a regular day of Chol, not necessarily. Okay, what I want to do is now try to present a totally different perspective on the entire obligation of visiting Rebbe. Until now we said it's a din of Kavod Rav, and therefore it's not a din of Regel. Regel certainly is just opportune intervals, because there are days which are sanctified and separated for Kedusha, which are very, very appropriate to visit Rebbe, but not necessarily. Therefore, Chodesh, Shabbos, Yom Tov, every day according to the Ritva. There's Yerushalmi in Erev that says, Shekol hamekabel pnei Rabo ki'ilu mekabel pnei Ashkina. To mekabel the palm of your Rav, it's as if you're in the presence of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyach. And then there's a drasha. Rab Brachia, Rab Yirmiyah, B'Shem Rab Chia Bar Abba, Ktiv, Moshe yikach et ha'oel. Moshe took his oel, and then he went out of the Machane after Chet HaEgel. Kama v'rachik, how far was the oel of Moshe Rabbeinu? Rabbi Yitzchak Amar Mil, it was a mile away. Mil's not exactly a mile, but whatever. Vaya kamavakesh Moshe Eiksiv. Ella, Kol HaMavakesh Hashem would go to the oel of Moshe. Mikan shekol v'kabel pnei Rabo kilu v'kabel pnei Shechina. When they wanted to see Moshe, it's because really they wanted to see Hashem. So the Yerushalmi learns out from over here that Mekabel Pnei Rabo is Mekabel Pnei Hashchina. Now, I think it's clear that the mitzvah Lahakbel Pnei Rabo is parallel to the words of Yerushalmi, Mekabel Pnei Rabo, which is Mekabel Pnei Shchina. This basically takes us in a different direction. It takes us in the direction of the mitzvah of Re'iyah, which is specifically on Regalim. It says, Shalosh Pam B'Shana, Yerah Kol Zachorcha es Pnei Hashem. You're Makabel Pnei Hashchina. Yerah Kol Zachorcha es Pnei Hashem. When you're makbel pnei rabo, that's in effect some way we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, some way in which we could, to a certain extent, kaviyachol, be makabel pnei Hashem. If that's the case, then you're dealing with a mitzvah of Regel. Clearly a mitzvah of Regel, because the din of Re'iyah is a chiyuv in Regel. It doesn't apply not on Rosh Hashanah, not on Yom Kippur. For instance, there's a parsha of Moadim in Emor, which is a parsha of Krish Hayom. There you have Shabbos, the Regel, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, you have it all. In Re'eh, you have another parsha of Moadim. The parsha of Moadim in Re'eh doesn't mention Shabbos, doesn't mention Rosh Hashanah, doesn't mention Yom Kippur. Because the parsha in Re'eh is a parsha of Aliyah Regel, Makam Hashem Char Hashem. So the Makam Hashem Char Hashem only mentions the Shalosh Regel, because there's no din of Aliyah Regel on Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. It's only on the Regel. On the Regel, the Yerah calls the Chorcha, it's Pnei Hashem. So if you take this idea of the Yerushalmi, then it might be a kima of Regel, not a kima of Kavod Arav, but rather a kima of Regel, of Yerah calls the Chorcha. And the Baal HaTurim, who's known for very, very clever drushes, he says as follows. In Re'eh, the Parsha of Re'eh comes immediately before the Parsha of Shoftim. Now, we forget what it said in the previous Parsha because, a week passed between Re'eh and Shoftim, but the Baal HaTurim did. And the Baal HaTurim points out as follows. Shos Pam Rishon Yerah calls the Chorches Pnei Hashem, Shoftim v'Shotim Titein Lecha. What comes after that, a few psukim later, is Shoftim Titein Lecha, Yerah calls the Chorcha, v'Samech le'Shoftim, Shachayv Adam La'akbel Pnei Rabo Regel. What the Baal HaTurim does is he connects the mitzvah of the chiyuv of the Hakbel Pnei Rabo Regel with what Yerah calls the Chorcha. Shos Pam Rishon Yerah calls the Chorcha. He's clearly working off the idea that we try to develop in Yerushalmi, that the din of Makbel Pnei Rabo is a kiyum in Yerah calls the Chorcha as Pnei Hashem. Because Kol Makabel Pnei Rabo can Makabel Pnei Hashem. The Chassam Sofer, in a fascinating drasha, he just made it up, right? We say, I forgot who it was Dorish all the Esim, Aleph Taf in the Torah, and then he threw it all out the window when he came to the Pasuk, Es Hashem Lokecha Kira, because there's nothing that can be, somehow a supplementary to Es Hashem Lokecha. You have to be Yarei for Hashem, and you can't darshan the Es. And then Rabbi Kiva came and was darshan Es Hashem Lokecha Kira, the Rabbos Talmidei Chachamim. That not only you have to fear God, you have to also have to fear Talmidei Chachamim. And therefore, after he threw out all his drushes on Es, Kashem Shekibal Tischal Al Drisha, Kibal Tischal Al Pisha, Rabbi Kiva came and also made a drusha for that Es. The Chassam Sofer uses that same model, and he says, Yesh lo chiach mikra, Kibo Pnei Rabo Regel, is a pasuk. It's not only a pasuk by Elisha. There's a pasuk in the Torah. Dechsiv Yirah calls a chorcha es Pnei Hashem. The es the Rabbos Talmidei Chachamim. If it says es, that's the Rabbos Talmidei Chachamim. Not only do you go to the Mikdash, you also go to Rebbe on Regel. Again, what the Chassam Sofer is doing, and of course the Chassam Sofer will then try to explain why does the Gemara not use this wonderful drasha that he made up, right? But the point is not the drasha. The point is what is lying at the root of what the Chassam Sofer is saying. At the root of the Chassam Sofer is saying is that the mitzvah of the Hakbel Pnei Rabo is an extension of Yerah calls the Chorches Pnei Hashem, Es l'Rabos Talmidei Chachamim. The problem with this approach is what do I do with Shabbos and Chodesh? If we're talking about Kavod Arav, we were able to extend it to the Shabbos and Chodesh, depending on how far or near you were to your Rebbe, because it's not a din in Regel. But if it's a din in Regel, so how could I explain Rav Yitzchak if I could say, This L'Hakol Rabbi Regel, Dichsiv, Lo Shabbos Hayom, Lo Chodesh Hayom. There's no connection between Shabbos and Chodesh and Regel at first glance. So the Achron that dealt with this brought the following medrash. Psikta Rabasi source number 12, it appears in a few different places, I think from the Psikta. B'ni, ba'olam hazeh, kama pam hayitem olim lo? How often did you go to be Ola to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol? Shlosha pa'amim b'shana, 3 times a year. Kshe'agia ha'kates, when the end of days will come, ani bonel so ve'en atem olim shlosha pa'amim b'shana ela kol chodesh v'chodesh u'v'chol Shabbat v'Shabbat. Atem atim liot olim sham. Kema shenemar v'ayam b'dei chodesh v'chadshom b'dei Shabbat v'Shabbaton. But basically, it's only because of human weakness and frailties in this world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu allows us to go once every Regel. But basically, we should be going every Chodesh, every Shabbos. So therefore, the idea, to go to Mikdash, okay, you go every Regel. But to go to Rebbe, you can go more often. And in essence, we should be going every Chodesh and Shabbos. So the Aruch LaNer and the Malbim each take a different approach. The Aruch LaNer, the Akushim Mokama Omedes. If you say Regel, how do you say Chodesh and Shabbos? Al yesh lomer al pima da'amina de'ru'im ha'yisrael alot Regel b'chol Shabbat v'b'chol Rosh Chodesh. Al lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu latriach aleim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to be matriach us, and therefore it was limited to Regel. But basically, Al lo asad lavo ve'mek tivkra v'ayam b'dei Chodesh b'chadsho v'mkein kabbalas b'nei Rabbo shehidubi the kabbalas b'nei Ashchina who gam kein hachi deroi b'chol Shabbos v'chodesh, and Rav Yair Kahn were able to do it only on Regel. Similarly, the Malbim, I'm not going to read it because we're running out of time. The Malbim says that at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, you go to every Regel you go to the Mishkan, you go to the Mikdash. So when are you going to see your Rebbe? So when it's a Mishkan, you see your Rebbe, Kol Chodesh v'Shabbos. Again, based on the same medrash, that basically we should be going every Chodesh and Shabbos, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to be Matriachas. So nowadays, before the last level, what we do is we go to the Mishdash on Regel, and we go to our Rebbe, Chodesh v'Shabbos, and that's what they did at time of Elisha. Now we don't have a Mikdash, so therefore, Yitzchak said, every Regel go to see a Rebbe. That's more or less the Malbim. Very, very similar to the other Chol. What I want to do now is learn with you a very perplexing Gemara in Chagiga. Tan Rabbanan, Maser Rav Yochanan ben Broka, Rav Lezer ben Chasma, Shaholchu lahakpil pnei Rav Yeshua b'Pekin. They went, Rashi points out, on the Regel to visit Rav Yeshua in Pekin. Amar lehem, ma chidush haya b'Beit Midrash hayom? What was the chidush today in the Beit Midrash? Amar lo, Tamidecha anu, umeimecha anu shokim. Well, you're Talmud. We drink from your waters. You tell us a chidush. We're not going to tell you the chidush of the Beit Midrash. Amar lehem, Rabbi Yeshua told them, Afal Pikei, nevertheless tell me what chidush did you have? EF shel Beit Midrash below chidush. It can't be that there was no chidush in the Beit Midrash. Shabbat shel miyata. He asked them, who was there in the Beit Midrash that Shabbos, that week? Shabbos shel Lezer ben Azariah. Shel Lezer ben Azariah, who was alternating with Rabbi Gamliel at the time. Uvamai Tad Kadayom. What were they talking about? Amalo b'Parshat Hakel. Uma Darash. What was the drush that he made? Hakel ta'am, hanashim v'ataf. Im hanashim ba'im lo mo, hanashim ba'ot l'shmoa. Taf lo. Why did they take the young children, the infants? L'itein schal l'mideihem, to bring schar to those that brought them. V'afu patach, and he continued to make another drasha. The Darash Divrei Chacham kedavanot u'chemasmirot u'tuim, bali asifot, nitnu merov echad, lama nimshlu divrei Torah, the Darban. Darban is something that you guide the shore as he plows. Ma Darban zeh mechavein et hapara v'tlameha lotzi chaim la'olam. Af divrei Torah mechavnim et odeim midarkei mita l'darkei chaim. Ima Darban zeh mitaltel. Darban moves as you go around. After divrei Torah mitaltelim. They also move. They're very arai. Talmud lomar masmer. Masmer is something stuck in one place. Ima masmer ze chaser v'lo yeter. Masmer makes a hole. After divrei Torah chaserim v'lo yeterim. Talmud lomar nituim. It's not only like a masmer which makes a hole. It's like a netiyah which grows. Ma netiyah zu parav ravai, grows and flourishes. After divrei Torah parim v'ravim. Balei Asufot, what's Balei Asufot? Eilu Talmidei Chachamim, Shoshvim Asufot, they're in groups, various different groups, Oskim the Torah, Halal U'Mitamim, there's one group that says it's Tameh, Halal U'Mitarim, there's another group that says it's Tar, Halal U'Osrim, there are those that forbid, Halal U'Mitirim, those that permit, Halal U'Poslim, Halal U'Machshirim, Shem Yom Adam, Heichani Lamek Me'ata, what are they going to do? They keep arguing. Talmud Loma, Kulam Nitmiro Echad, you should know that it all comes from one source, it all comes from God. Kel Echad Natnam, Panas Echad Amram, V'dei Adon Kol HaMa'asim, Baruch Hu. Dichtiv, V'yidaber Elokim et Kol HaDvarim Ha'ileh, Af Atam, Aseh Oznecha Kaf HaKesem, make you listen very, very carefully to what everybody says. Uknei Lecha Leiv Nivin, L'shmo et Divrei HaMitamim, et Divrei Mitarim, Osim, Matirim, Posim, Machshirim, V'loshon Zeh Alehem, and then Rabbi Yeshua answered, Ein Dor Yatom, Sher Lezer Ben Azariah Shorim B'Tochim. Okay, that's the first story. The next story is as follows. V'lemu B'adei. Why did they refuse to tell him the drasha? Why did they say, Talmidecha anu, U'Meimecha anu Shoftim? And they refused initially to tell him anything. They had wonderful drashas. Why didn't they say anything? V'lemu Lebehedya. Mishum Maseh Shahaya. Because it was a different story to Rebbe Lezer. Maseh Rav Yosef ben Damascus, Shahalach La'akbil Pei Rebbe Eliezer Shevit Elu. Amalo, Machim Shaya Beit Midrash Hayom. Amalei, Nimnu v'gamru Amon u'moav ma'asim maser ani b'shviyis. Amon and Moav, which don't have to keep shviyis. You know, so what maser do they take? They take maser ani. I'm not going to go into the reasons for that now. Amar lo Yosi, shot yadecha v'kabel einecha. Open your hands and receive your eyes. In other words, he went blind. Rav Lezer ben Uliel. Pashat yadav kibel einev. Bacha Rabbi Lezer va'amar, Sod Hashem Lireyav, Ubrita lo biyam, Amar lo lech emol hem. You go tell them in the base medrash. Al tachushu lo minanchem. You shouldn't have any concern for what you decide. Kach mekublani, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Sheshama mirabo v'rabo mirabo, Hilchot al-Moshe b'Sinai, Amud u'mor ma'asim b'aser, ani b'shviyis. We have an old tradition. You don't have to come up with anything. It's an old tradition. Matam, and then he gives a reason. I'm not going to go into it. In the last line, La'acha shenesyash padato, Ama yiratzon sheyachsu en yaso l'mkomo v'chazru. What's going on in the story? It's a terrible story. What was he so angry about? So there are a number of different answers, but I'm going to get to what the Rosh says. This story is brought down also in Masechet Yadayim. And the Tosefet Yadayim has a different girsa. Am Yosef ben Damascus and Ayisim Zekeim Rishonim Shabal Miyav Melud Ubasim Motzasi Yisrael Reb Lezer Shayoshe b'Chamish Anachtom Belod Amar Ma Chidush Haya Lachem Beit Midrash Hayom Amarti Lo Tabidecha Anu Mecha Mishotim Amar Afikem Ma Chidush Hayom. That's what we have in the Tosefta. The Rosh points out on Mishnah the Parakam de Chagiga Mashra Shalom Akim. He didn't say Tamidecha Anu Mecha Mishotim. The castle of Rabbi Lezer, that's how Rabbi Lezer got mad. Amo shot yadecha kabel inecha. The Vishalom Amar came. Vishema Samachokas Tanai. Whether he did say it or didn't say it, there are two different traditions what happened exactly in that story. Okay, so we're going to work with the tradition that he got angry. Why? Because he didn't say Tamidecha Anu Mecha Mishotim. So, it was so terrible. The Maharsha says that, again, working off the idea that we're talking about covered Rabo. He was Mora Halacha of Rabo. If you're Mora Halacha of Rabo, you're Chayav Misa, Sula Chashav Kines. That's most what the Maharsha says. But I want to suggest something else. If we work off the idea that Riyas Pnei Rabo Regel is parallel to Riyah in the Mikdash, there's a drush in the Mikdash, Yirav calls a Chulcha, that if you're blind, you're put from Riyah. Because when you come, you don't only come to present yourself, Yira'eh, but there's a drush of Yira'eh Yir'eh. You not only come to present yourself in the Mikdash, you also come to see. Now, the question is how we deal with that drush of Yira'eh Yir'eh. basically, according to the approach that we deal with, some kind of Regel, which is parallel to the Mikdash. If they didn't say Talmidecha Anu U'Necha and Shotim, it means they didn't come to hear. They didn't come to see. They didn't come to accept anything. They only came to give. The Talmud came to the Beis HaMikdash to show himself off. If you didn't come to see, you don't need your eyes. That's what Rav Yaakov Kahn suggests here to explain the Medrash. Because the mitzvah of the Hakol P'nei Rabbo Regel is like Yirah calls a Chorcha, which is not only presenting yourself, but it's also to not only to Yirah that you should be seen, but also to see, to accept, to somehow sponge in everything that you have in the Mikdash and Pnei Hashkim. If you didn't come to listen, you just came to spout what you have to say, then you have no place here. I think it might be connected, going in the same direction, but I think it might be connected to the basic difference of opinion that exists between Rav Lezer and between Rav Yeshua, which has other ramifications. I'll just point out one source, number 19. Tan Rabbanan, Maaseh Rav Lezer Sheshabat B'Galil Elyon, V'Shalua Shloshim Halachot V'Halachot Sukkah. They asked him 30 different halachot. Shtei B'Sei Amal Lehem Shamati. Regarding 12, he said, yes, I heard. Shmona B'Sei Amal Lehem Lo Shamati, I didn't hear. Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda Omer Chiluf HaDvarim, 12, 18, the other way around. Omer Lo Shamati. Omer Lo Kol V'Recha Einam Elu Pi Hashmuah. So you didn't hear, but you can answer the question anyway. Omer Lehem Yizkakun Lo Mai Davar Shlo Shamati Pi Rabotai. You want me to say something I didn't hear from my Rebbe? Mi Amai Lo Kedmani Adam Beit Midrash. Lo Yashanti Beit Midrash. Lo Shenet Kevel Lo Shenet Ara'i. Lo Hinachli Adam Beit Midrash V'Yatzati. I was always the first, I was always the last. V'lo Sachti Sichat Chulim. I never said anything I didn't hear directly from him. You know, Rebbe Lezer felt that Torah Shal Peh is what you receive from your Rebbe. You have to receive. You're to present yourself, but present yourself to receive, not present yourself to broadcast. If you recall, Rebbe Lezer and Azariah talked about. When Rav Lezer asked, Ma Chidush Beit Midrash, it was cynical. He didn't believe in Chidush. He didn't believe in saying something that's Mechudash. He didn't believe in saying what you heard from your Rebbe. Nimdu Lugamu, you came up with some kind of a Chidush, it's a tradition. I don't care what you came up with. What did you hear from your Rebbe? And that got him very, very upset. And you didn't come to listen, you didn't come to hear, you didn't come to see, you don't need your eyes. On the other hand, Rabbi Yeshua asked Rav Lezer and Azariah, what were you dorish? And what he was dorish was Divrei Torah Parim V'Rabim. In other words, as the generations go on, there are chidushim. Ma chidush hayom beit midrash. Ein beit midrash b'li chidush. It's a different approach, in which as new generations come along, Rebbe learn from Talmidim, because Torah is something dynamic and it grows and it's exciting and there are new things that come up all the time. And there are chidushim, and chidushim is okay. Elu metamim, elu tmeim, and elu ve'el chayim. It's not only one tradition that exists. You know, Rav Lezer, Kana Shalachnai said one thing, and you can't argue with it. No, elu metamim, elu tmeim, asa azechat mifakesed. The idea of Rav Lezer was you come to listen to Rebbe. Machirish Beit Midrash didn't interest him. There's no, you have to, what did you have to do Rebbe? On the other hand, Mashaniki Balkan was giving us what we got from our Rabbotain, was empowering us to think for ourselves, to learn for ourselves, to be mechadish, when we came to visit our Rebbe during the Regel, it wasn't only to hear, but it's also because our Rebbe wanted us to hear. And the approach that there is a chidush in Beit Midrash, and that Torah is part of a Rava, and it's exciting, and it's dynamic. That's the Torah Shal Peh that we learned in this Beit Midrash, the Beit Midrash, the chidush of this Beit Midrash, and many other Beit Midrash in the world. It's like the Beit Midrash of Rav Soloveitchik, of Rav Vital, of Rav Lichtenstein, was a Beit Midrash of Chidush, a Beit Midrash of thinking for yourselves and not simply being some kind of a parrot. So I think if you talk about coming on a Regel or even not on a Regel to yeshiva, it's not only experience. Designed to be Makam Shechina, not only to your Rebbe, but to a Makom Torah where you learned. It's to come, but it's not only because you come in order to receive. You may want to hear what you took with you, what you have to say, what you did with it, what you came up with over the years. That's also part of Lakbil Pnei Rabbo Bereda. And it's something which is very much to all the Rebbe. And I just want to end with a final source. Another Gemara in Chagida, that he deals with Makul Pnei Rabbo Regel. Rebbe Reb Chia Havishakli v'Azli B'Morcha. They were going on a path. Kimat lo humata. They came to a certain town. Amru ikatzum Rabbanacha. Is there a Talmud Chacham in this town? Nezav v'Nakabel Ape. Will be Makabel Panav. Amru ikatzum Rabbanacha. He's blind. Amru Reb Chia Rebbe Kivat. You stay here, I'll go. He won't see us anyway, so I'll go, you can stay here. Rebbe was the Nasi. Rebbe insisted on going. Takfe v'azal v'hadei, he went together with him. Ki have a mifter every day. As they departed, this blind Talmud Chacham, Amalu, atem hikpaltem, panim, hanirim ve'inam rodim, you are mekabel, my panim, that can be seen but can't see. Tisku la'akbil panim haroim ve'enam nirim. You should be zocher to be makabel pnei ashchina in the Beis Hamikdash, the panim of a roa she'enam nirim. Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Again, connecting Hakol Pnei Rabbo with Yeral Kol Zechorcha. Amalei ika hashta manata mehaberchet. If I would have listened to you and stayed here, I would not have gotten that bracha. Amalei liman shmiale. Where did you hear that wonderful bracha? And how important is the Hakol Pnei Rabbo? Mi perkei Rav Yaakov shmiale. I heard it from Rav Yaakov. Rav Yaakov ish kvar chitya have makabel abin Rabbi kol yuma. He would be makabel in front of kol yom every day. Kikash, when he was very, very old, it was hard for him to go to makabel Pnei Rabbo. Amalei nitzar mar. The lo yachel mar. Lo nitzar mar. Don't bother. It's hard for you. Don't go with your Rebbe. Amalei mizuda ma yechtiv b'Rabbanan v'chiyol netzach l'rei hashachat ki rei chachamim yamutu maro chachamim mitatam yecheh b'chayim alachat v'kam v'kama. Rabbi Yaakov was makabel Pnei Rabbo kol yom. The idea of Makabel Pnei Rabbo, we saw it once in a Regel, we saw it once in a Yovel. There's a kilo of coming every day. Whenever you have an opportunity to come to the yeshiva, to come, to receive, to come, and that we should receive from you. I think we should cherish those opportunities, and this is a bayis, Muchanim, where we all grew up, where we matured, where I matured. As a Talmud Chacham, and it's very, very ragesh to see the thousands of people that came today. And don't wait for the next Yovel.